And here we are.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning. This
Good morning.
is Two Psychic Moms. Today is Tuesday, August 3rd. And we are,
I'm glad you know, Julie. I would have had to think about that.
I didn't. I look at my calendar, the date is up in my
Oh, yeah, that's true. It's right there. Duh.
That's where I look because I don't remember. And I have a calendar up there and I have a calendar on my phone.
I always have to think about what day it is. So, yeah.
My life revolves, it doesn't revolve around the calendar, but it's in sync with the calendar. It really just works with the calendar. Anyway,
Yeah, me too.
we are two psychic moms. And so we talk, I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic. And
I'm Tammy Langowski. And you can reach me at tammysintuitive.com for really everything, including the contact form.
And I'm juliehawkins.com, bizpsychic.com. And my guides were kind of chomping at the bit this morning. So we come every week. We talk about whatever spirit wants to bring up and channel in, and then sometimes about our cats, which I have many, so there's almost always something to talk about. But like here's Bella, she's going to come up because that's Bella's thing. So if you don't want to hear this, that's okay. But I'm just going to say it's going to be, I was like, ooh, can you pick one of those two? Does it have to be both of those topics? But they're just going to go. I have no control over this. And so, I mean, I'm not going to say I don't have any control, but I honor that. And so they wanted to talk a little bit about where we are in the pandemic and a little bit about where we are in our democracy in historical, in the present day, all right? And that's, and so that is my diplomatic way of saying those things. So are you okay with that?
I am sure. You go for it. If it's we'll start with so this is something they're channeling for you. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, great. Let's go for it. Sure.
So I have kind of felt a little bit at peace with where we were in terms of the pandemic. And I was just like, yeah, it's kind of interesting. I haven't really heard anything, I'll say noteworthy about that in a while. And so let's see, they're like, oh, we're going to update you. I'm like, good, okay, update us. So they're going to update you. So they said as we said before, many times before, when we first started channeling about this topic, that the pandemic was going to last approximately 3 years. And we give you that time frame, 3 years being where we were when we right before it hit us, to right where we'll be as we come out of it, or at the end of it. Honestly, it will never be truly an end as you think of it. Mm-hmm. We don't know why you're so stubborn about this, but the fact of the matter is, there was polio and there was smallpox and there were all these things that science made great progress in and created vaccines to basically eradicate those diseases from your planet. And there will always be these types of viruses that come and go. And you are in one of those at this moment. You could eradicate it or get pretty close to eradicating it if everybody would ignore the garbage out there. It isn't, there used to be a term called junk science. We're not even going to call it junk science. We're just going to call it junk. And the science is proven your planet, the universe, is built on science. So period, end of story. Science is science. And so where you are in this cycle of this is that it's truly that dance. It's, oh, let's go this way. Oh no, we're going to back up this way. We're going to move this way. We're going to move that way. Because there are people out there that refuse to either accept the science or make up their own. And I think that's another whole conversation. I paused because I'm like, I don't really want to go in that direction. They're like, it would really be a long conversation. So we're not going to go there, but that is where you're at. And until you as a planet decide that you are willing to accept a vaccination to really curb this virus, it will continue to dance around you. And that's why you feel, they're saying to me, and that's why you feel like nothing has changed, because it really truly in some ways hasn't. You keep doing this dance around it. And so stop dancing, get your vaccination. This is from them. And you will then eradicate this virus. And again, at this point, we're seeing it as about another 1.5 years from that point to be back where you were before this entered your cycle in your planet's history. So they just really wanted to say that. And I don't know if your guides have anything they want to add about that.
Okay, sure. Let me just open up. Thank you for that message. It's a good message. Okay, so
I said, yeah, we think so.
So what I'm hearing is we agree with Julie. Again, I'm going to be, I know, this may or may not be controversial. I don't think it should be really, but that, again, that's my personal opinion on that part. So I am just going to be channeling. I am not, forcing my guides to go in one direction or the other, as Julie isn't either. We're just opening up. So that was the first thing they said. We're in agreement with Julie. It's time for everybody to get on board, is what I'm hearing. And again, this collective coming together with the decision to eradicate it, as you were saying, some of the other ones have been in the years past. They are also saying it is time for us to start listening to science and not ego, because ego is playing such a big part in this, when actually science should be front and center. I would almost say, I would imagine there's some people who might hear that though and say, well, we're not so sure about the science. How do we know for sure that's true? You don't, they said, you don't. But we feel that this is, I'm giving the words legit, I'm getting truth, and that we need to start paying attention to what we can do for mankind as a collective. That is our take on it. We're kind of having some fun with that a little bit. Because it is important. And we would just emphasize for you all to get out of the ego and do what you feel is right, what is right ultimately for mankind to erase this virus, or at least they're minimizing it. They're making it very, very small. You did good for a while there. And now there is some resistance again, but you see it had to rear its ugly head again in a different way, didn't it? To get your attention, for you to do something about it. So the lesson is here for all of you, not just in this, this pandemic, but also about what you can do collectively. This really is what the lesson is about. And we would suggest that you do what you need to do to eradicate this, minimize the virus as a collective. And they're just leaving us with that on that. So,
and we want, thank you for chiming in on that. We appreciate that. And we want to just say this, if you are mistrusting of the science, let us set your mind at ease. Science has something called empirical data, or data, if you prefer. And it is based on we'll call them experiments. Really, what you call them are studies or trials to that where they test these things over and over and over again to come up with a standardized result. Okay, so what they're saying is, do you get that standardized result? Do you have that data when you're listening to junk on, from your neighbor's friend who said there was a operating system in there and there, or your magnetic? I mean, where does it's wonderful imagination. We love the imagination that comes from it. It is not true. None of that stuff is true. There is no empirical data to back it up. And this is what we are saying to you. So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, thank you. Right.
All right.
Right.
They're like, we don't have that emphasis. Julie's it's me that's the emphasis, right? It's like, oh, they okay.
No, it's good stuff.
All right. Then the other thing they wanted to talk about. So some of this is by something that I had a drop in. I think it was yesterday. I really don't watch the news a lot anymore. I get bits and pieces of it. It's kind of sound bites. And when there's things on in the background, it's just noise sometimes for me. But there was something that was on yesterday. And I don't even remember specifically what it was about. It was about the former president and Trump. And all of a sudden they dropped in, this man is doing exactly what the man Hitler did in the 30s and the 40s. And so if you think that this is just talk or seriousness, or it is not serious enough, we want you to get real serious about it and believe that it is actually quite a movement by this person and the people who follow him to oust your republic as it stands and get rid of democracy and bring in an authoritarian regime headed by your former president. And he is your former president. I can only tell you that I was a little bit removed from it. I was like, yeah, maybe he's fading away into the background, blah, blah, blah. And when they dropped this in for me, I was like, I kind of had to catch my breath. I was like, oh my God, this is serious. This is big. This is not pretend. This is not talk. This is not BS. This is a real actual movement that they are working to actualize on their end. And I know you may hear this and find that hard to believe, because I kind of did. I was like, he's gone. Let him go somewhere under the rock and pout. But no, it is a very real movement. And if you wish to keep your democracy as you enjoy it now, and if you don't know what that means, we absolutely support and encourage you to go look that up. What that would mean under what an authoritarian regime might look like for you versus what you have now. And you will be none too happy to relinquish that. So yeah, we just wanted to share that with you. It is very serious, more serious than you can imagine. And we hope that you will all take it in the spirit in which it is given. There is no judgment about whether it is right or wrong for you. We just want to give you the facts of that it is a serious movement to move your government from a democracy, republic run as a democracy, into an authoritarian regime. Anything you have to add, my friend?
That probably not, just because I don't do the political stuff, but we appreciate certainly what you've just shared. I'm sure there's going to be many that will, it will resonate with them. There will be some that may not, but there will be many it will. I mean, as far as that, I probably could go to something else, but you go ahead and finish, Julie, if there was something
Oh,
more.
I'm just going to say, from my personal perspective, when that dropped in, it kind of scared the crap out of me, which I think it was designed to do. Because I felt worn out from the whole 4 years before. I just didn't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to know about it. I just can't. Why can't we all just live in peace? And live and let live. And let's see what other James Bond things I can quote. Maybe they're not James Bond, close to James Bond, but it's just. And when this dropped in, I was just like, what? It was like a slap across the face. And do not take this for granted. So it scared me. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Well, drop-ins are worth mentioning. Julie and I have talked about it before. Drop-ins meaning kind of when something is literally from our guides. We all get those things, we're intuitives and we work as conscious intuitives. So we know when they dropped in. And it is something usually that you're like, wow, where'd that come from? And I really do pay attention to those when I get them myself. So, it's worth sharing if we ever have something, and everybody can make their own, draw their own conclusions from this, but I think it's worth sharing the message for sure. So thanks for doing that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I was just are you done with that part?
I feel worn out.
Okay. Well, you know what? You needed to share it, so that's great. It's kind of funny. I had a couple things that were given to me, but sorry, I'm just looking to see where we want to go. Okay, I'm going to go with the staying objective in an argument. I'm not even sure if that wording is correct, but basically what my guides gave me sort of a topic just about when we're in an argument with somebody, right? So it's kind of funny because there could be opposing sides to what you just said, right? There's going to be many, and so it's kind of funny that this is even, but they gave me this earlier, and I'll just see where they go with it. Two people are never alike. Okay, we know, they're starting off with that. And when you are in a disagreement, maybe an argument, whatever it might be, please remember that, of course, there are two sides to every story. And I'm really not working off anything that Julie just said. They were actually talking about this. And that, for this, there's always that, they're saying. And so the best way we really can do, and when we know we've all been in disagreements with people, we're human beings, we work through ego often, and all that good stuff. So those things are going to be, that's a given. They're just saying when you find yourself in those times, this is going to be probably some obvious information as I'm hearing it, because they're just saying, take a deep breath, right, is the best thing we can do. Listen, they just said like this with my ears, like listen, really listen to the other person, put yourself in that conscious seat where you're going to actually be hearing what they have to say. And I know I have done that. I've shifted from already in my opinion, already in my head, of what they're saying, to just consciously taking a moment just to listen to what they're saying. It doesn't mean you're right or wrong. It doesn't mean you're wrong, if that helps you to be in that. It just means you're just going to listen to them for a moment. Feel the vibration of it, because sometimes underneath, they're telling me right now, sometimes underneath this is fear. It's working from other areas sometimes, that, especially if it's something that you feel just is not making sense. They're saying something that they're just fighting to fight, or arguing to just argue. And so when you take that moment to listen to them, you will also get a vibration from it that might help you to start to understand where they're coming from, or maybe where this emotion is coming from, thereby giving you an opportunity to be in a place, a seat of compassion and listening. So you've listened to what they have to say, and you can validate what they say, because that does help. And it helps for a smoother communication going forward when you do validate. You may come back with your own ideas, but you might also circle around, if appropriate, to some of the vibrations you were picking up. What's a statement might be, what scares you about this, pertaining to the agreement, so that you can actually go into a deeper level. Really, it's the same for yourself as well, but maybe you're helping them out, which then might be helping you out in that way. So we would say again, just in conclusion, that if you're in a disagreement and you feel that you're already going to the ego where it's okay, I can't wait for them to be done so I can say my piece. And you know what, we're human. Who hasn't done that? All of us have. You know, we all like what we have to say. They're just reminding us just to sit in that place of, you know, like, I'm just going to hear what they have to say. I'm going to feel it. It's a little tidbits, little things maybe I'm going to jot down that I can refer to. I mean, if that makes sense to do. But, you know, hopefully that helps a little bit. And I think we would all be in agreement with the idea of that kind of thing, conscious listening and really being there to validate what somebody has to say. Sometimes it comes from a different place than the words that you're actually hearing. So
Absolutely.
it's a little compassion, I think, you know, or to be in that place of compassion.
Wow. And we love that you brought this up. It is such a powerful reminder. And I think they're just saying, just to extend that a little bit, is to say, just listen.
Mhm.
You know, we all are in our heads when we're like, I want to say my piece. I want to say my piece. And it's like,
Yeah.
you know, what if you just listen? Listening, real listening is such a skill. And oh, by the way, such a gift.
Yes.
Such a gift. So, yeah.
I agree, Julie. And I would say to that exactly when you say that, it's like, I think when I have done that, and I'm not saying it happens all the time for me. I mean, it's something you have to consciously decide you're going to do. But I actually feel such a difference.
Yes.
I feel, well, I've let some of that crap go, basically. You know, the tension, the fear, the anger, frustration, whatever it is. It's like in that moment, it's really a wonderful place to be. So try it. Because honestly, it does feel good.
It is. It's funny. It's like all of a sudden you're like, yeah, did I need that?
Yeah. Right. Right.
Great reminder. Great way to finish up this part with spirit. I just love it. Love it. Love it. Love
Yeah.
it.
Thank you for all your messages as well, Julie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Tour guides,
you.
always. Hey, by the way,
Yeah.
I just want to say this morning, you know, I meant to get up earlier than I did. And I don't know if any of you, well, you know how some of you will say like, oh gosh, I just wake up. Like I know what time to wake up, right? Which is true in many ways. Like we start to get this body clock of knowing, but I don't know if any of you have ever had that moment where you just suddenly wake up. But this morning it was interesting because I had woken up early, way early in the morning, and then went back to sleep, which is a good thing. But then that could be not so good for me because then I can go into a deep sleep, you know. So anyway, I heard in my ear, and it wasn't a super loud snap, muffled. Right away, I woke up, you know, I instantly look at the clock. I'm like, oh, heck yeah, I got to get up. And I just laughed. And the first thing I got was your mom and dad, which is interesting because my father's in spirit. My mom is here on the earth plane. And then I heard when I asked about it, who woke me up? They said a relative. So I love that. You know, again, you know, our guides will help us. Loved ones in spirit will sometimes help us. Sometimes they'll even say your name, you know. Maybe they say wake up. I haven't gotten that one, but it was interesting, that little snap, muffled snap.
That's and you.
Fun.
So it didn't scare you or anything.
No, I once had when I was a child. I once had when I was about 10, where I was lying in bed, and I might have been the lucid state because that's when you often can hear spirit anyway. And I heard a very audible, loud Tammy in my ear. Now that frightened me as a child. This is before I knew, of course, of anything that I'd be doing and really conscious abilities. Mine, I didn't get till my mid-20s where I started working on it. But, you know, probably like all of us, we all have abilities, but, you know, maybe I had some things back then. But yeah, so to say to that, this didn't, but it's a good question to ask because sometimes it depends how it's delivered, I think.
Oh no, I have 8 cats. One of them's always waking me up.
Yeah, right.
Usually doing things they know they shouldn't be doing.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
this morning I hear scratching underneath my bed on the carpet. I'm like, yes, that is they're like, get up.
Yes,
I know they're not supposed to do that. Oh, they're
right.
tricky
How can
little
we
devils, huh?
annoy mom? Yeah, how can we annoy her to get up and
They
standing on you, the classic stand on you kind
oh,
of thing,
yes.
you
Or
know.
paw the face, or it's
Right.
like, yeah.
Oh, don't we love this sweet little
Yeah.
kitty cat?
I will say every day is a little bit better and better and better with Maggie May.
Good.
She still goes to the door and screams to go out, but then I'm like, go lay down somewhere. And she goes back into the bedroom and goes under the bed and lays down, goes to sleep.
Okay. So she's getting used to it then. She's getting used to the routine,
She is.
hopefully. Yeah.
I had the weirdest dream last night. I will just share this. I don't remember kind of how it started, but I was with a group of people that I really didn't know. I don't know who they were, what I was doing with them, it was like I knew them in some way. And then somehow something shifted and we were like protecting ourselves and everybody had arms because somebody was coming to hunt us. And I'm like, holy crap. And I remember I had like a long gun, like an AR-15. I mean,
Wow.
I was like, she Rambo. I mean, I didn't use it. I woke
Yeah.
up and I was just like, what
Yeah.
was that about? It was,
Well, yeah, because that could be about protecting yourself, and maybe either needing protection or feeling unsafe sometimes. I mean, I'm not trying to analyze your dreams, but those are good things
no,
to ask yourself.
I'm
Often
like,
it's like, what does that, even the gun, what does that symbolize for you? What does it mean to you? Um, it might mean different things for different people, even that, a weapon, right? So,
so I will say that there are times, so I, I'm always in a lot of pain at night. It wakes me up. And so there are times I have to take, and I take a quarter of a muscle relaxer. And I think it stirs the dream state, but in a I'm not going to say a violent way, but I've had similar dreams where they're like highly energized, and sometimes I'm running or chasing, or it's just
interesting.
So I think it's from that, but it's like
Yeah.
woke up going, God, I'm tired before I even start the day because
Yeah,
I
right.
was fighting all night long in my dream.
Dreams can do that. They can, or fever dreams. I used to title them fever dreams. Remember those? Like maybe especially when you're young and you literally had a fever, like you were fighting, a flu or something. And
Yeah.
it was bizarre. I had the most bizarre dreams. And I just started calling them fever dreams because they were, I mean, thankfully I didn't have many of those, but I remember one being like, I remember in my dream, however I had my legs, this is really bizarre, this would be a total fever dream. However I had my legs positioned, in my dream, I kept thinking they were like forming lakes. Like, I know, weird. Like, I mean, that's how bizarre they can be. It doesn't even make sense. But like somehow I was, forming these lakes. And that went on for quite a while. I remember waking up thinking, what was that? And, didn't have a peaceful night's rest.
Yeah, they're
Strange.
they're interesting. That's all
Yeah,
I
they
can
are.
say. They are interesting. So
They are.
anyway, so I think that's all I have to say for today.
Yeah.
Enjoy the day. We have been very lucky with our weather. Knocking on wood.
We
Um,
have.
Bella thought it was the door, so she jumped off.
Hey, I just want to say too that thank you for all of you that are subscribing to Julie and I's channel, because I think we have some more subscribers. Thank you so very much for that. We're very grateful for that. And remember that if you have anything you would like us, any topics that you would like us to do a channeled reading on or a little message on, then put them in the comments and
Yes,
we
please.
will address.
And share, if you like what you hear, share it on your social media, please, and say, oh, they're taking questions.
Yeah.
So yes, thank you,
Like,
thank you, thank you. We really appreciate that. And of course, we can each be found for private readings. So.
yeah.
All right, everyone. We so appreciate your time and attention, and we will see you next time. Until then, I'm Julie Hawkins, the Biz Psychic.
And Tammy Langowski at tammysintuitive.com is where you can reach me. So thank you so much, everyone. Have a good week.
Be well. Get vaccinated.